Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel, and today we are going to be talking about 5 underrated albums. So this video is in no means a list of the top 5 most underrated albums, because I think that would just be impossible to, number one, impossible to define, and number 2, impossible to determine. But this is just 5 albums that I'm going to throw out there that I think are underrated. I think there possibly could be a follow-up to this video with 5 more, but these are just 5 albums that I feel like are currently going massively underappreciated. So yeah, let's get into it. Before I get into the list, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and let's get on with the list. So starting off at number 5 is Heavy Is the Head by Stormzy. Now, this is coming 2 years off of his last album, which was, of course, Gang Signs and Prayer, an album which I really enjoyed. I felt like it really stuck to his roots of like grime. He still tried to do something in there that was like a bit creative and tried to go off of what you would expect from Stormzy with songs like Blinded by Your Grace. But Stormzy started 2019 with coming out with great big tracks like Vossi Bop, which was huge, Crown, which is a song that I think, in terms of underrated songs, it was a song that went massively underrated in my opinion. And then he sort of went quiet for the summer, which is, I understand he was on tour and stuff, but I really thought that they would have built this album. He would have pushed as many singles as he could through it. But yeah, we just didn't really get that. And then I think that really damaged the anticipation for this album. The album kind of dropped in December, which I don't think is a great month to drop albums, because it's hard then to get onto like best of the year lists and stuff. But yeah, he dropped it in December, and it just was a bit quiet and no one really appreciated it. I think that this album is honestly a grade above GSAP. It really, like, it was surprising to me how good this album actually was and how underrated it went. The album dealt with the fact that Stormzy's like got all this new fame, but he feels like he needs to do something with it. He needs to achieve stuff. He can't just sit on his laurels and just be king of grime for the next 5 years and that be it. He really feels like he needs to push it to the next level, and he wants to become the Jay-Z of the UK. And I really think he could do it, and I think that theme really fit throughout the album. There was bangers, front to back bangers. There was quieter songs as well, like the song with Her. Song with Her, 1 Second, is a song that I was playing on repeat. Maybe a couple months after the album was released. I thought that was such a catchy song. 1 second of your time, I can give you a story. Generally, I think Stormzy like really took loads of inspirations, loads of collaborators, threw them all together on this album with some incredible production, incredible messaging throughout the track list, and he really came through with an album that I think went majorly underappreciated. So yeah, if you haven't heard Heavy Is the Head, it is a banging album. If you've already heard it and you didn't think it was that good, give it a second chance, because I really think that album could surprise you. It's one of my favourites from last year. It's definitely my favourite Stormzy album. So yeah, just definitely go and check it out and see whether you enjoy it more on the second listen. The second album I'm going to talk about is The Lost Boy by YBN Cordae. Now, this album, I'd never heard of YBN Cordae before, as probably maybe there's some of you out there who haven't heard of him. But once I heard this album, I was like, this kid is onto something. This kid is going places. I really, really rate YBN Cordae now. And this album just had a great blend of incredible rapping ability, catchy songs, funny lyrics in places, nice slower tracks. But yeah, it just had something about it. Something that I haven't really felt with a new artist in recent times like YBN. I really got encapsulated with something in this album. I do really like the transitions as well in the middle of the album, so maybe it's something to do with that. I just think this album had something about it that it really got me. Out my eye like a sight, so don't you shed a tear, cause there'll be better years. I was broke as fuck, down with my ass, had the lowest luck. You do bad bitches, gonna be rolling my feet. I got 3 young niggas that the bust of the heat. Yeah, okay, can't never know. It had great singles in it. Broke as Fuck is a great single, and the beat switch at the end, like that beat switch at the end, I absolutely adore it. Yeah, mom and dad never had a damn thing, damn shame, now I'm popping champagne on a private jet. And yeah, I even went to see him live earlier this year, just before Corona took over the world. I went to see him at, I think it was Shepherd's Bush in London. It might have been Scala, I can't remember, but it was a small venue and the crowd was amazing. He was really good with the crowd. He did a cover of My Name Is, where it was My Name Is YBN Corday. It was sick. Yeah, and he really knew how to work a crowd, and yeah, I definitely think he's on to something in the future. I think that loads more people will listen to this. If he can find some kind of single power, if he can find a way to like get in the charts in America and the UK, I definitely think this guy could be on to something. I know obviously this might not be everyone's definition of an underrated album because it was nominated for a Grammy, although it didn't win. But I just think this album needs to be recognised by more people around the world. It is such a terrific rap album from last year, one of my favourites. And so yeah, if you haven't heard it already, The Lost Boy by YBN Corday, definitely go and check that album out. Another award nominated album that came out last year was Nothing Great About Britain by Slowthai. Now, Slowthai is an incredibly charismatic rapper from the UK. Unlike any that I've heard within the last 5 years, he just has this absolute charisma on the mic. The way he uses his voice to like for different expressions and stuff, he is literally crazy. He is crazy. I know there's been a bit of controversy about him at the I think it was the NME Awards, where he sort of was being a bit misogynistic, which, you know, isn't ideal. But his music, he's just that kind of rock star character, and this album just was like, it was, I know I'm saying this about every album, but it was an insane album. He really encapsulated how shit it can be in Britain sometimes, with all the stuff going on with Brexit, the politics, the poor people that are suffering, and the rich that are just looking down upon them. He really encapsulated what it's like to be a youth in Britain. Yeah, incredible work by him. Something about this album, again, I know I'm saying this about all the albums, but it just had a mix of so many different elements that made it, to me, one of the best albums of last year. Obviously, it got nominated for the Mercury Prize, which, in my opinion, I think it should have won. It was Psychodrama that won the award, but Psychodrama won for its politics, which I understand, and in that way, it's, you know, it is an important album. But I do think that this album was even more, it wore its political front on its sleeve even more than Psychodrama, and maybe that's why it didn't win. But, you know, even to be recognised in that way by the Mercury Awards is an amazing achievement. Yeah, Slowthai continues to be an artist that I love. Obviously, he's collaborated with Tyler, the Creator, Brockhampton. He's just done a collab with Disclosure that just come out, like, as I'm recording this, it just come out a couple of days ago. So yeah, he's an incredible young artist, and I think he's got a bright future ahead. I really hope that he can encapsulate on the magic of this last album in his next one. I'm not 100% sure how he's going to do it, but I do feel there must be a way, because he's such a great artist. I'd love to see him rise to the top if possible. But yeah, this one is Nothing Great About Britain, Slowthai. Check this album out, incredibly underrated album, and Slowthai, what a great artist. Going on a different vibe, we've got Michael Kiwanuka's album, Kiwanuka. He is an incredible, almost soul, rock, funk artist. Obviously, I think his album was called Cold Little Heart about 5 years ago, and he's just come out again with a new album, which is obviously Kiwanuka. and I think this album just didn't disappoint. It is incredible. His singing is amazing, his artistry is amazing, and I think that he really goes back to an old school 70s, 60s kind of vibe, and always music that just no artist today is doing it quite as authentically as him. Yeah, this album was brilliant. Piano Joint is a great song on that album. This one's more for like if you're not so much into rap, but you're into like soul and funk, and like you just want to hear an incredible singer. This album is for you. Michael Kiwanuka is the name of the album. A beautiful album, and yeah, one that I'm definitely going to be listening to more in the future. And finally, the last album I'm going to talk about in today's video is Kano, Hoodies All Summer. Now, obviously in 2016 he released his album Made in the Manor, which was obviously went down a storm. Like, people absolutely loved it. People rated it as one of the best albums of 2016. And yeah, 4 years passed, and well, 3 years passed, and he released this album, Hoodies All Summer. And I think it really showed that how much he matured in that time. I'd say that the overall vibe of this album gives off like 444 vibes of Jay-Z, like where he sort of went from being king of rap to just taking it back a level, making it more subtle in, you know, every track, less in your face, and showed more maturity, talking about politics. And obviously the lead single of this song is Trouble, which I maybe would say top 3 songs of last year. Yeah, that song is incredible, dealing with, you know, like stuff like the UK post-COVID wars, and yeah, just general sort of racism towards black youths in like London and other areas in the UK. Particularly relevant to the time that we're living in at the moment. Well, I haven't actually seen the music video, which is criminal of me. I need to watch the music video because loads of friends have told me how insane it is, and it's like I think it's like a documentary like sort of video. So yeah, I really need to check it out. But yeah, this album was just, it did something different, and it was just so cool the way he did it. Some tracks were really long and they went on forever, and it was his incredible, I mean, Kano we already know, probably arguably top 3 ability wise in the UK. Yeah, and he really delivered something on this album, Hoodies All Summer. I'd say this goes to the point of, you know, I was reading an article, GRM Daily said that this was a UK hip-hop classic. I'd almost say it is. It is that incredible. And it just went so under the radar, like people just weren't talking about it the same way they were talking about Made in the Manor. So yeah, this one is definitely one to check out if you like grime music, UK rap, that kind of thing. It's not really one for anyone that's into like American rap. But yeah, Hoodies All Summer by Kano, incredibly underrated album, and yeah, definitely one I'll be listening to in the future. And yeah, Trouble is a song that I'll be playing for years to come. That song just hit something for me. I love a song like Trouble, man. The just how simple it was, but how the message came through so clearly. So yeah, Hoodies All Summer by Kano. It's a great album, one that you should definitely check out, as well as the other 5 albums in this video. So we have reached the end of the video. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like down below because it really shows your support, and also comment on any other albums that you think are underrated. I'd love to have a discussion with you in the comments, and we can talk about which albums you think really like go under the radar and which ones you think I should talk about maybe in a future video. So yeah, leave any underrated albums down in the comment section. But for now, subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching, and bam.